So welcome back everyone. If you missed part 1 of this video, we've recently upgraded the wheels and tyres on my Toyota 86, and we've gone from 18-inch big, heavy Hustlers, which is just a generic, no-name rep brand here in Australia, to some Oz Racing Alcateras HLTs in a 17x8. And they were fantastic. And if you haven't watched that new video, here you go. Follow this link or follow in the description or click up the top right, wherever you want to get there. Go over, check out that video first, because this video follows on from that, where we've now taken these wheels and tires and we're heading to the track. We're using the same alignment, same everything. We're just trying to compare how much faster we are on these new wheels and tires. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Morning everyone. We are on the way to QR as we speak. It's going to be an exciting day. As you saw at the start of this video, new wheels, new tires, RS4s and Oz Racing wheels, and I'm very excited. It's actually the first set of wheels I've ever bought for myself that didn't already come on the vehicle. I might be outing myself about the Skyline, but that's fine. Point being, very excited to see what sort of difference these are going to make for us this morning. Should be an awesome day. We should smash the sprint circuit layout PB by miles, given that we have a way better tire compound underneath us, and we should be able, who knows, we might just go through turn 1 flat. I'm not going to try that first of all, but we'll see. The second thing is going to be running the Switchback today, which is more of a motorcycle track, but I think out of all the cars on the grid, anyone in sort of the low end spec of street class and the sub 2000cc category is going to love that track today, because all of us don't have the power to compete with the big dogs up the top. Finally! So more turns is better for us. So that's going to be awesome. Going to be name of the game is going to be momentum, like always. Other than that, let's go get some brushes in these tires and a cheeky coffee, and then we'll head to the track. Briefing done. About to go on track. New wheels, new tires. Easy 2 seconds for sure.
Then check this out. Ready now?
Welcome back everyone.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
We are ready to go out for our first session. Now I've just run the RS4s down to 33 in the front, 34 in the rear. We'll do some temp checks when we come back in. I'm unsure how much I'm going to heat these up, and I don't want to make the mistake of making them too low and having insane tire wear, shoulder wear that I had on the Pilot Sport 5s the very first day I went back out and ran those. So should be good to go. Car's set up, ready to go, ready to rumble. We're running the Switchback this morning actually for the points, so that's going to be a bit interesting. So we will see how that goes. Alrighty, let's get after it, guys. Here we finally are. Queensland Raceway, new wheels, new tires, going through turn 1. And honestly, we're going to compare the data a little bit later in this video, but by the end of the day, I am carrying way more speed through turn 1. Immediate success. New wheels and tires feel great on track. Car felt way more nimble on its feet. Was a lot more reactive to when I was trying to get on the throttle mid-corner, and felt like it could brake way later, both better grip and less inertia, as we spoke about in the last video. I just want to say a quick shout out to anyone who did watch part 1. Thank you so much for the love of that video. That video did actually really well by channel standards, and a lot of you are not subscribed though. About 90% of you who watched that video were not subscribed, so if you haven't yet, click on the like button, subscribe, ring the bell, all the good YouTube things, and you can continue to see me push this platform and others beyond, and take this racing thing as far as I can get it. Anyway, as you hear me yap, the Switchback's a bit of a tricky lap, to be honest. I think this is the best lap that I've done yet, is a 1:19.6 for the day that we do right here. That was session 1, obviously, time. And yeah, it's a really tricky track, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. First session all said and done, Switchback is so strange. It's so hard to nail the insides of each of the corners. I don't know, gearing and everything, it's a struggle, but we got 2 more sessions of it, so let's go and send it. And send it we shall. Honestly, you ever have those sessions where you go on a track? Honestly, not even just race car stuff. You just have one of those moments where every single thing falls apart. That was this session. So we're out there, ready for a rip. And then we first get blocked by this guy. What the doing, dude? Little bit harsh, but you know, I felt like I was on a flyer. Happens, everyone goes deep. He has no ABS on full slicks. Happens. But then I get stuck behind a Yaris. Not again. I don't know what I did to offend the Toyota Yaris gods, but it seems like every time I'm at Queensland Raceway, there is some fella having the time of his life and not looking behind him whatsoever in a GR Yaris, and they seem to always find my ass on the track right as I begin to feel like I'm getting faster and faster. I don't know what I did wrong. I don't know who I need to apologize to. If you own a Yaris, I'm sorry, you know. So now begins the cycle. The Yaris disappears down the straight, all 300 horsepower absolutely killing it, gapping me, making me feel quite insignificant with my lowly 100 horsepower on a good day, it feels like. And then almost immediately, we're back on his bumper. No matter how I set up to overtake this guy, he doesn't see me, he's not aware, and he gaps me down the straight. Guy locks up in front of him again, but he's long gone. And I just not able to get a single good lap together this entire session following this GIRS. And then it gets worse. So this is now a lap or 2 later, and I haven't been able to get past whatsoever, and he won't let me overtake on the straights no matter how much I flash or set myself up for an overtake. And as we pull hectic G's around this final turn, my phone turns off. And as I do this gear shift, you can just hear it, I kick the OBD2 reader out of the port because it's right near my goddamn left kneecap. So I don't have data for this run, which is why you're missing your magical, fantastic overlays. So my phone's shut off, I don't have timing, I've been blocked this entire time. I pretty much gave up at this point on this session. Even though I was on track to do about a 118 in this session from the predicted, which I'm probably not good enough to actually carry through, it just wasn't my day. Anyway, let's move on to the next session with actual data. I've just put down a heater, feeling pretty good about myself. So let's play a game. What does Lachlan do next?
Oh no! Oh my god! Wow!
Shocking experience.
You pussy motherfucker! You pussy motherfucker!
We're hyped up, we're ready to go. We're going to speed through the sprints because, spoilers, we do more than the normal amount of sessions today. But here is our fastest sprint lap time. Now I will say that a 103.5.4 is our PB as of this moment. So we're far enough into this video now that I think it's time to talk about how well these wheels and tyres actually affected my performance on track, positively or negatively. Now I'll do a comparison lap later on the sprint, but you can see my minimum speed through that corner was like 140. We're holding it here. 120, but already accelerating prior to the apex, flat out, holding these large bars of wide open throttle, which we weren't able to do as well on the previous setup. Trail braking feels way more responsive. I can get on the throttle way earlier. Turn-in feels more responsive. These wheels and tires have made a significant difference, and already we're nearly a second faster. But let's stop beating around the bush with these morning sessions. You know, I'm getting used to the tires, I'm feeling things out, and let's jump to the afternoon. Let's get it. Fuck a 1027, there's a 1025 in it for sure. Next bit, shout out to Paul and the rest of the TimeAttack Queensland team. They always run an amazing event. Here I am running pit lane, helping out. And in trade-off, we got to do a couple more laps that I didn't think we'd get for today. So here we are going back out for the sprint session again. Now, I'm really locked in now. I've been thinking about the lap. I've been thinking about how I can brake so much deeper, both because of the wheel and tire combo and also because I just need to grow a pair of balls. And yeah, here we go. This afternoon session where we actually put down some crazy times. So in our first session out, we didn't actually go any faster than we did in the morning. We hit a 19.2. So let's jump right to the meat and potatoes. Switchback, session 5.
Cheers.
So here we go, the afternoon session. What we've been waiting for.
Alright, we're actually going to give this guy lots of space because we want to make sure that we have a lot of room to run, because this will be the fastest session by far. And we can't let old mate beat us. So let's get this shit.
Now, by old mate, we're talking about our friend in the Honda Accord who showed up to TimeAttack this year, and he's put it within 1/10 on my door every single day so far. So we really wanted to stretch the legs and get a bit beyond now that we have new wheels and tires, because if we're not going faster, then what was the point, right? As you can see, I'm having my moment, but the weather had started to come in as the afternoon wore on. It became more overcast, which was perfect for the track temps. They came down quite a bit. So we're giving ourselves lots of space because we know that this is going to be the heater lap. And even with the amount of space that we gave, we very, very quickly came onto the back of some traffic who obviously we wanted to get around as fast as possible, knowing that we were on for a heater. We had to make the best of this session. So very quickly we get in front of him. I became pretty frustrated about here because I wasn't actually really getting a clean lap. Traffic was ahead and I was worried that they were going to hinder our lap going forwards, knowing that I was in the green by a substantial margin, as you can see both on my phone and underneath the timer here. And I'm starting to get worried. This is my last moment to go a sub 19.
God damn it!
Thankfully, they pull off and we're ready for a rip.
Alright, let's try this again, one more time. that was a rip. That is it, that is it.
About here, I look over at the relative and I see it slowly counting down just a tad from how far we got it as we come through turn 6 for the last time. And I'm starting to get stressed. I'm worried that I'm leading time on turn 6. We're flogging down the straight. I'm looking at it going, oh no, I might not have exited correctly, but we manage an amazing...
Woo! 18, baby! Woo! Let's go! Woo, 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 woo!
I do have to say, I sound like a bit of an idiot when I'm celebrating, but that was a killer lap. That was 8/10 faster than our session in the morning, which was wicked. Felt really, really good that lap. And realistically, all it was carrying my minimum speed much more, which I can do with this wheel and tire set. But let's move on to really what we came for today, a comparison against a lap I've already done, the sprint. Here we go, the setup. Now, I've technically already PB'd. I'm at a 103.08, but I know there's so much more in the car. We do an early wide exit from T6 to try and set ourselves up for the best top speed down the straight. Classic iRacing tech tip there. And here we go, fastest lap of the day. As we're going through, let's talk about things I'm doing better. Right here, trailing off the brakes just a little bit more, a little bit longer, getting on the throttle a little bit earlier, borrowing a bit of that jabby throttle technique to see where there's grip mid-corner, trying to get onto the throttle as soon as possible. Really helps my exit. Look how far in the green we are here. Again, rolling off the brakes just a little bit longer than I normally would rather than trying to get the brakes done before turning. Jab at the throttle, trying to maintain our minimum speed, and here we go again. Massive grip from the RS4s, holding way more speed, shifting up to third way earlier than we normally do. And it's looking pretty good. We've lost the phone. We have no idea what our lap time is, but here we go. That is a 102.48. That is the official fastest lap I have ever done around Queensland Raceway, and it is feeling really good. And there is so much more to go in the car. I have no idea at this point. I'm still sending it. I still think that it's slow and I have more to give. But let's have a chat about overall how much better we are compared to where we started. Welcome to Data Review with Lachlan. But first, let's check in with the final times for the day. Here we can see the fastest lap of the Switchback was an 18.62. Not too shabby, but session 6 of the sprint of a 102.48, the official fastest PB of the Lachlan Obren channel at QR. Absolutely annihilated it. But here we go. Let's now compare the fastest sprint lap from round 1 earlier this year to the fastest sprint on the new wheels and tires, and have a look where we made over a second in gains. Now, as we approach the line, I think the first thing that I want to point out here, and I've tried to sync the clips as best as possible, we are going to have to do a little bit of interpretation. But immediately, you can see two key differences between these laps as we cross the start-finish line. The first one being that the overall speed going over the line was 2 km/h faster in round 3, which is great. But I think more importantly is the difference in the gear shift. If you have a look closely at the throttle application, you can see exactly where I lift to shift. And you can see on the left-hand side, I'm yet to lift to shift. But on the right-hand side, we've already completed the shift. So immediately, what this tells us is that down the main straight, our new wheel and tire combo has helped us in 2 ways. One, the obvious, being that a much stickier compound tire means I can roll more minimum speed through the final corner, does mean that I'm coming onto the straight at a higher RPM, at a higher top speed, so that my shifts are going to be earlier as we go down the straight. But I think more importantly is the fact the car is able to accelerate faster because it has less rolling inertia and it's not fighting itself as much to get up to top speed. So these are only a small gain, but this is going to continue throughout the entire lap. And it's these minimal gains that really gain you actual lap time. So if you cast your eyes to the speed at the entrance of turn 1. Now our turn-ins are very similar, but you can notice that I am 8 km/h faster on a new wheel and tire set than I am on the left-hand side on the old Motorsport 5s. 8 km/h through turn 1, and we've barely started getting into the corner. So we're scrubbing so much extra speed. And I think a big part of that, given that by the time we got to the end of the straight, our top speeds were, you know, within 3 kilometers or so, I do think these RS4s just allow me to hold more speed rather than immediately scrubbing speed off as the tires immediately get overwhelmed on the round 1 clip. And as we roll through the rest of turn 1 and we slow it down just a little bit, you can see how much more speed we can maintain in the round 3 clip over round 1. And as we come to the end of the straightaway, we're immediately nearly 10 kilometers an hour faster on the exit of turn 1. So immediately through turn 1, we're gaining quite a significant amount of time from just our minimum speeds, which is fantastic. Now with the clips resynced from the exit of turn 1, you can see how much more minimum speed we carry through turn 1 and how much our exit speeds change because of it. Now, we can spend all day tearing apart each of these laps and finding the million differences, but I think 2 of the next big points are going to be my position on track where I'm braking. I think I'm turning in better in round 3 than I am round 1 in this scenario. But I think more importantly is my brake trace. Now, if you look at my brake trace, it's peak pressure on the right-hand side and then kind of reducing over time, you know, a trail braking-like method. Where on the left-hand side, I'm doing more peak pressure. It sort of maintains and then it gets let off. And obviously the right-hand side is faster. That's like proper trail braking technique, and in practice it does get me through the corner substantially faster and on a better line. See how much I'm pointing towards the exit correctly rather than having to do sort of more cornering after the apex as I had to do in round 1. And you can see here our minimum speeds are already higher as we're getting into the braking zones, but also my peak speed down the straight was faster. And again, my trail braking method is actually a lot better in round 3, both from practice in the sim, but obviously I feel way more confident with the RS4 underneath me than I do the Motorsport 5. It just enables me to feel what's happening under the brake pedal more, and so I'm able to lead off speed and bleed off the brake correctly. And now through these final couple sections, I think there's a little bit of technique getting better here, but my exit is just so much better. The car's so much more willing to rev as it goes down to straight. And this is where we gain a couple kilometers an hour throughout an entire lap. It's just a good exit, but also better acceleration. So again, thank you so much for watching this video. I really love making them. They're a little bit of a screw around. They take a fair bit of time to edit, but I still love it all the same. And you watching this video all the way through truly means a lot to me. All in all, very successful round 3. The new wheels and tires on the car feel fantastic. Even just street driving, the car feels so much more alive. And as someone in the comments of the last video did say, it's a big reason why everyone goes light wheels and tires, not just for width, but just for the reactivity. And it's like getting a lightened flywheel. The car just feels happier on its feet, if that makes sense. And you can see it in our overall lap times, and you can see it in our top speeds. The car's loving it. Now, next video shall come out fairly soon. The car is currently with Diversion Garage in Compalaba near Brisbane, Queensland, and it is getting some work done, so stay tuned for that. And we have a few mods for the car that went on the weekend beforehand, so should have a good video there. Not a non-track related video, but a video nonetheless. And then later this month we have Morgan Park, so hopefully new wheels and tires, few mods that might make a bit of a difference to our lap time, and a completely dry track, fingers crossed. We should be able to put down some of our first official lap times at Morgan Park, which will be fantastic. So again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate every one of you who leaves a comment, who likes the video, who subscribes. If you have anyone who you think would like this video, share it with your friends. And follow me on LOTECH Motorsport on Instagram, because you get to see reels I make about videos before I even release them, stupid memes that I post, updates about what I'm doing to the car. And finally, in the next few months, we're going to be starting some iRacing streams. So that may be Twitch, that may be YouTube, bit of both, but get the notifications going for that. Follow me on Instagram. I'll be posting there mainly when I decide to start streaming, and you can come along and watch me tank my IR and my SR by driving it into a wall, because sim racing is actually kind of hard, and arguably harder than driving the car on track normally. So that's all I have for today. Catch you in the next one.